I just talked about misinformation, disinformation, and how we have seen a bipartisan response when it came to Hurricane Helene, and how we're trying to bring our country together. It is important to bring people together.
DeSantis refused to take a call from Vice President Harris specifically around Hurricane Milton. Can you just talk about that and any communication around this?
For all the MAGA hosts and MAGA reporters at the Fox propaganda network who peddle Donald Trump lies, who push his conspiracies, who uplift his false claims, Peter Doocy may be the worst of them all. Maybe it's because he's so smug in the way he delivers his misinformation. Maybe it's because of his gotcha questions, which are always so disingenuous. Or maybe it's because he is so consistent in his lives on behalf of Donald Trump and on behalf of Fox. But thank goodness Kay Jean-Pierre is there every single day to call him out. And I think her takedown of Peter Doocy and his lies today was the take-own of the year. There are many great instances of Peter Doocy getting shut up to his face, but this one has to be the best. Because it wasn't just the lies that Karine Jean-Pierre was calling out, doing an incredible job as our incredible press secretary, but she was calling out the damage done by those lies, specifically the lies of Donald Trump about President Biden and Vice President Paris's response with hurricane aid relief. It was perfect from Karine Jean-Pierre, and I just want to check it out. But before we do, if I can quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, it really goes a long way in supporting our channel. Now let's check out this clip.
And on this issue of funding, the administration has money to send to Lebanon without Congress coming back. But Congress does have to come back to approve money to send to people in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
Here's what I'm going to be very clear about. The president and the vice president has had a robust whole of government response to this. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I said it at the top, more than $200 million that we have directly put towards survivors here for disaster help. And that's because of this president's commitment to make sure that we are there for communities that are impacted. We take this very seriously again. We take this very seriously. And before the hurricane hit, we pre-positioned more than 1,500 federal folks on the ground to help. And so we have made sure that every state has gotten their storm requested emergency declaration. They requested it, and we made sure they received it. We've taken this very seriously. More than $200 million that we have provided to the impacted areas. But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous. Because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That's our focus here.
But President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you do? Yes, it's misinformation.
Is there money to send to Lebanon right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. People are deciding not to.
Wait. To Congress that there's not enough money to help people in North Carolina.
We're talking about the SBA disaster loan.
That's money for people in North Carolina,
and that's important. And people in North Carolina need that. Wait, this is nothing new. Peter, this is nothing new. Congress comes together, they provide money, millions of dollars, for disaster relief. We're asking them to do the job that they have been doing for some time.
From a letter that President Biden sent to Johnson, McConnell, Schumer, and Jeffries. The president's letter is not misinformation. Would you agree?
No, the way you're asking me the question is misinformation. There is money that we are allocating to the impacted areas, and there's money there to help people who truly need it. There are survivors who need the funding, and it's there.
That you don't like misinformation.
I actually said we have the money available to help survivors of Hurricane Helene and also Hurricane Milton. Now, Now, there's going to be a shortfall, right? Because we don't know how bad it's Hurricane Milton is going to be. And so we're going to need additional funding. We're going to need additional funding.
That's exactly what I just asked about. And you said it was
No.
misinformation.
What
Yes.
you're asking me is why Congress needs to come back and do their job. That's what you're asking me. Congress needs to come back and do their job and provide extra assistance, extra funding to disaster relief fund. That's what Congress needs to do, and we're going to continue to urge that. You may not want that, but that's okay. That's what this president wants, and that's what the vice president wants. Thanks, everybody.
Of course, it is always important to shut down the lies of the MAGA movement, and especially when they're coming from the mouth of Peter Doocy. But right now, as Donald Trump's lies are causing even more harm to communities affected by this most recent hurricane, all these states need real information now. And Donald Trump is preventing that from happening by spreading conspiracies for his own political gain, while people don't know how to access the aid they need, or they don't know if it will actually help them. Because Donald Trump is pushing all these lies and conspiracies, and so it is so important for Karine Jean-Pierre to call out Peter Doocy. And again, doing such a great job shutting him down, shutting down those smug, disingenuous gotcha questions that he's trying to push, obviously knowing the truth, refusing to talk about it. And another example of that came during this press briefing, it wasn't just Peter Doocy getting shut down, but Karine Jean-Pierre made sure to call out Donald Trump in some comments that he made today. Absolutely disgusting, saying that we have to get rid of the bad genetics brought in by immigrants. Just gross stuff from Donald Trump. But let's hear Karine's response.
I just talked about misinformation, disinformation, and how we have seen a bipartisan response when it came to Hurricane Helene, and how we're trying to bring our country together. It is important to bring people together. And tearing people apart, tearing communities apart is dangerous. And this comes from the same vile statements that we've heard about migrants being poisoned the blood. That's disgusting. And so this president, this vice president, we're going to continue to forcefully reject this kind of vile, disturbing, hateful speech. It has no place in this country. And we have to respect the rights of all. Respect the rights of all of us coming together. That's what we want to see, not tearing communities apart, bringing it together.
The levels to which Donald Trump's xenophobia and fear-mongering of immigrants has risen is absolutely disgusting. We heard his poisoning the blood of our country comments. We have heard him say disgusting things again and again and again, saying that immigrants, are human in his eyes. He continues to push these false claims about immigration. He continues to push lies and conspiracies about the southern border. But the dehumanizing of immigrants, the way he talks about them, might be worst of all. And we've already seen the example of how damaging this can be. We know how damaging it is, but if we look at Springfield, Ohio, and the damage that has been done to that community, a community that has banded around the Haitian immigrants that Donald Trump is attacking, J.D. Vance, is attacking with their conspiracies. There have been bomb threats called into schools. People are danger. There's been political violence committed. Why? Because of Donald Trump's rhetoric. Now imagine if he was standing behind the seal of the presidency when pushing these lies, if they weren't just coming in unhinged speeches about Hannibal Leor and McDonald's and windmills or whatever crazy thing he was saying that day. Imagine if he was giving these remarks, pushing these lies as president. Imagine how much more damaging it would be. It's something that we have to consider because it is so incredibly scary. We have to call it out. Karine did such a great job doing so, and she also did such a great job calling out someone else who has been acting ridiculous, as MAGA Republicans do. Might be an understatement in Governor Ron DeSantis, unfortunately, the governor of my home state, who is refusing to take calls from President Biden. Vice President Harris and Karine called that out right here.
DeSantis refused to take a call from Vice President Harris specifically around Hurricane Milton. Can you just talk about that and any communication around this new hurricane?
Look, that is something for the governor to speak to himself. If you have the president and you have the vice president reaching out to offer up assistance provided to your constituents, the people who live in your state, to make sure we are doing everything that we need to do from a federal response, and we're reaching out, offering our support, that's for the governor. The governor is up to him if he wants to respond to us or not. But what we're doing is we're working with state and local officials to make sure that we are pre-positioned, to make sure that we are ready to be there for the communities that are going to be impacted. We are doing the job that is needed, that we believe is needed to protect the communities and to make sure that they have everything that is needed. You heard me talk about the declaration. We approved that for Florida. That's moving forward. And so we're taking this very, very seriously. That's for the governor to speak to. That is.
Trump and some of his
MAGA Republicans just don't have any interest in governing. Do they? They run for office saying government can't work, only to prove that with their failure to govern, Ron DeSantis isn't disappointing. Ron DeSantis is a disgrace. His actions do not. They do not warrant saying, oh, it's just disappointing. Disappointing is too nice. It's disgraceful. It's sad. People are hurting and people are in jeopardy right now in my home state as another hurricane is going to come barreling through central Florida. And Rhonda only cares about scoring political points. These people are not adults. They should not be governing us. They are too dangerous. We have to call them out and then we have to defeat them. And we're working to do that every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you're stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.